Hello everyone. I hope you guys can hear me and see me clearly. Just respond with a yes or no so that we can start with the session. सबको सुनाई दे रहा है? Everybody can hear me clearly. Everybody can see me clearly. Just respond with a yes or no. फिर हम लोग start कर सकते हैं. Perfect. तो आवाज़ मेरी clearly आ रही है. One question that I wanted to ask before we start is, do you want me to speak in Hindi and English or only English? किसी को हिंदी नहीं आती है, let me know. I will restrict myself to only English, and if all of you are conversant in Hindi also, then I will uh, speak in Hindi and English mix. So, okay, Ravindra, only Hindi, only English. Okay, so even if one student says only English, let's limit ourselves to only English. Okay, perfect. So, what exactly are we going to cover today? Okay, what are we going to cover today? The main issue that I'm going to focus upon is what are the mistakes that students make when preparing for RBI or any other examination, whatever exam you might be preparing for, whether it's RBI, whether it's UPSC, whether it's SBI or SSC or any other banking exam, whatever exam you're preparing for, there is a certain way that you take, certain path that you take in order to prepare in the best possible manner. But there are a lot of mistakes and at the same time a lot of confusions that students have. And I try and understand that by putting myself, let's say, in the student of a shoes in the shoes of a student who is, let's say, preparing for JE. So I have no experience, I have no knowledge about JE. I don't know anything about science. So I try and put myself in the shoes of that kind of a student who is going to prepare for JE and see what are the challenges that I am going to face. So, keeping that in mind, I have identified certain mistakes and confusions. Of course, you will have a lot of questions, and I will keep taking those questions either in the middle of the video or towards the end. So, we are going to focus on a lot of confusions and a lot of mistakes that students face, and every day I get 60, 70, hundreds of calls, and I have to take those calls and answer the same things again and again. So I thought it's very important to clear out these mistakes and confusions that students have. And even if you've started preparing, you might be facing these confusions. You might be making these mistakes. So it's important to clarify them again and again. Okay. Okay. Only English. Yeah. So the major problems, mistakes, and confusions that students have are divided into three parts: technical, resource, and attitudinal. Okay. Recently, someone in the teaching fraternity also took up this particular idea and started discussing the mistakes and confusions that students face. So that was when I realized its importance again. So there are three major problems, confusions, or mistakes that students make. Three major areas. These are technical, resource, and attitudinal. Technical में comes what are the issues related to awareness about the exam, issues related to confusions regarding your eligibility or various other confusions. In resource, which is the biggest confusion, the problem is with respect to which books to use, number one. Secondly, how to study, very important. What all areas to focus upon, what all areas to not focus upon. Okay, so all these kinds of confusions, should we study topic wise or should we study book wise? Major confusion which students have, and I have to answer it regularly, one by one. And the third is attitudinal mistakes, and I see that happening a lot of times. especially with respect to students that are paid. I should not be saying this, but I see that um, uh, somebody enrolls today, and 5 minutes later I get a call and he says that this thing is missing, and I tell them, we started with the course, we've done a lot. You should be focusing on what we have already provided you rather than focusing on what is not available. So he says there is no section for economic survey. Bhaiya, economic survey is not even come out. Even after it comes out, I'm going to take a month or more than a month to cover the survey. The reason is a lot of other places come out with the survey video next day, but that is of no use. The reason is survey is so big, even for me it would take almost 15-20 days to read, to compress it, to convert everything into ppts, and then to create videos on the same. Okay, at least 15 to 20 days it will take for me to do the same thing. So I need a month to come out with good quality survey videos, but students want things immediately. So there are a lot of such attitudinal problems which students face, and which we have to consciously try and remind ourselves that okay, we should not be making these mistakes. Okay, thinking a lot about what will happen in the interview. First, go till the interview. Why are you thinking so much about the interview now itself? Planning is good, but over planning is also bad at times. Okay, it's good to think that okay, in interview I might face these kind of questions, so let me answer them. Let me create answers for them right away. For example, a lot of gap in your studies. So the answer would be to enroll in some higher studies program immediately. Okay, that is a good answer. That is a good way of approaching the problems, or trying to cover the problems that you might face. But overthinking about the same thing and not thinking about the exam which is supposed to be taken for you first, that is an attitudinal problem. Okay, so we're going to look at all these issues, we're going to look at all these things one by one, and then you can ask your questions. So first start with technical mistakes and confusions. Number one is with respect to who is valid, who is eligible, and who is not eligible. Okay, so a lot of undergraduates call me and tell me, ask me whether if they're going to pass out in the year 2019, then are they eligible or not. Well, if your mark sheet, final mark sheet, which is an aggregate of 3 years or 4 years in case of BTech, is out before the end of notification period. Let's say the notification comes out on 1st July. Okay, and the notification finishes on, let's say, 20th July. And if the notification says that on 1st July you should be an undergrad, then your final mark sheet should be out before 1st July. If the notification says that the final mark sheet should be out before 20th July, or if it does not say anything, then your final mark sheet should be out before 20th July. Okay, so it's about declaration of final mark sheet. It's not about finding or getting a provisional certificate. Even if you have a provisional certificate, it's not going to matter, because what they want is uh, a proof that you have cleared your undergraduation, you have cleared your graduation, you are a graduate now, and the only proof is final mark sheet, which accumulates or which combines your scores of 3 years or 4 years. Okay, the next is exam is held in three phases: phase 1, phase 2, and interview. But selection is based on only phase 2 and interview. A lot of students think that phase 1 is also involved. Okay, so phase 1 ke saath, phase 1 is only qualifying in nature. It's the marks are not added in your final score, in your final merit that is created. So phase 2 and interview, only these two, and therefore the preparation also has to be likewise. So your preparation for phase 1 has to be keeping in mind that it is qualifying in nature. Now यहाँ पे दो problem है. Lot of students would assume or conclude by what I'm saying that in phase 1 they just have to clear it. No, you just don't have to clear it. You have to clear it with a good margin to ensure or to be safe that you're going for phase 2 exam. But at the same time, if the cutoff is 105, although you target to get the max, but if your score, let's say, is coming 135, it's of no use to try and increase it to 150 by spending a lot of time on it, but not spending significant time on phase 2. Okay, so agar if your margin is good, if you're getting well above the cutoff, then you know that you're going to be able to clear it. So you don't need to try and push it to 150, 160 and waste a lot of time and not prepare for phase 2. A lot of students do that. Okay, try and stay away from that. The third is there is 20 days gap between phase 1 and phase 2. That needs to be kept in mind. Phase 1 और phase 2 के बीच में a gap of 20 days. So your phase 2 preparation has to be done beforehand, before you go for phase 1, because in these 20 days you will not be able to cover majority of the syllabus. Majorly UPSC aspirants take these 20 days as the serious days for preparation, and they're able to clear or they're able to crack it just because in phase 2 they are well prepared in ESI and English automatically, because if they're preparing for UPSC they are well prepared in these two areas. So they face challenges in only in FM, finance and management, and also in FM while they're preparing for ESI. In FM, some areas of finance theory may the area of current in finance theory is covered to a certain extent, not completely but to a certain extent. Okay, so that way they are able to cope up. But if you're not preparing for UPSC, it's advisable to be able to cover entire phase 2 before you go for phase 1. Okay, the next is how long does the interview go. The interview goes on for 2 months 15 days, that is 2.5 months, sometimes 3 months also. This year the interviews are finishing on 31st, and the result is supposed to be declared 15 to 20 days after the submission or after the completion of interviews. Okay, normally it takes 3 to 4 days, maximum of 4 days after the completion of interviews, but this year is going to take some more time. Okay, now this is very important. The last point is very, very important. Even now I get a lot of calls and students keep asking me, sir, should I take finance as an optional, should I take stats as an optional, should I take something else as an optional? Well, there is no optional now. I would recommend, I would advise all of you, whoever is here, to go to the official notification once and check the official notification. We all are getting used to relying on all the websites that provide information about the syllabus and eligibility. What happens is a lot of times that information is not updated. Okay, so even on my website you will find all that information, but if I'm not able to update that information based on updations made by RBI, then whatever information is available on my website is useless, and relying on that can be harmful. So it's important that you always, whatever exam it might be, always use the official notification, download the PDF of the official notification and go through that. Okay, so there is no optional now. FM is compulsory. All papers in phase 2 are compulsory. So FM, ESI and English, these are the 3 papers. Okay, then what are the other technical mistakes? थोड़े से let's take 1 or 2 doubts, then we'll go forward with other technical mistakes. See, Akash Verma, the same question. I just mentioned that there is no optional now. Optional is removed. FM is compulsory. There is no stats paper. There is no other kind of paper. So you're asking the same question again. See, Supriya, no need to focus. Number one, no need to focus on phase 1 general awareness now. See, till the time you are done with the entire syllabus, you should not be picking up phase 1 general awareness. Okay, the max that you can do is pick up phase 1 static portion of general awareness, because in static portion in the general awareness section 80 marks, the weightage of static portion is increasing day by day, so you need to focus on that. Secondly, phase 1 general awareness, current affairs, whatever you prepare, you don't know whether it's going to be useful or not, because we don't know when the exam is going to be held. Let's say the exam is in September, then the current affairs of only previous 5 months, maximum 5 months is useful. So that makes it August, July, June, May, April. So whatever you cover now in January, February, March, these 3 months is going to go into waste. Okay, you don't want to do that. You don't want to put your energies to something that you don't know whether it's going to be useful or not. So a better approach is to prepare other areas and to get on to phase 1 general awareness towards the end. Okay, probably in April or May you start with general awareness. If let's say in June the notification comes out, then you cover the previous months in one go. Okay, so that is the better strategy. Anshul, I have explained to you general awareness. Yes, Harika, RBI recruits every year. Yes, Akash, you can cover phase 2 syllabus in 5 to 6 months. I'll be explaining the entire phase 2 strategy also. Yes, Abhishek, you can go for PhD. RBI sponsors its employees for PhD programs. They can recommend you. You can apply for a PhD. Nikki, nobody knows when the RBI notification will come out. Lot of people are spreading rumors already. March में आएगा, April में आएगा. But officially there is nothing from RBI's side till now. Their calendar does not contain anything. Okay, as on now, as on today. So nobody knows, but it should be according to past year experience. So it should come out somewhere in July. इलेक्शन से कुछ फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता है, it does not matter, but of course they don't want to carry out their recruitment at the time of elections, so make it should come out after May only, June or July. Mahesh, I've already explained general awareness. Yes, I will be Anvi, I will be explaining to you about synchronization of books and materials. Not compulsory, Sunny. There is nothing, you cannot say that PIB is compulsory, but certainly PIB is a genuine source, reliable source. So you can go for it on a fortnightly basis or monthly basis. No need to cover current affairs on a daily basis so heavily. Okay. Instead, focus on covering the syllabus. I'll be explaining that. I will be coming there. We'll wait for the survey, whatever they come out with. If not before the interim budget, they might come out with something or the other later. So we're still waiting what the government says. Arpita, I'll be explaining about subjects as well. That is under resource confusions. Newspaper also I'll be covering those things. Yes, Mission and Puri, I'll be covering those things. Okay, you're jumping to resource confusions. I'll be taking those things as well. Okay, so technical में let's go forward. Lot of confusion regarding minimum percentage requirements. So in 10th, 12th and graduation separately you need 60% each. ऐसा नहीं है that you need 60% combined in all three. Okay, and in graduation 60% aggregate for all 3 years or 4 years depending upon what your degree is, or 5 years if it's a combined degree. Okay, so 60% aggregate in all 3 or 4 or 5 years, not in the last year, not in first year, not in second year, not in the last 2 years, not in the last 3 years, nothing of that sort. Okay, if there is the policy of your college with respect to calculation of your percentage is different from this particular method that has been provided by RBI, then you file an RTI with the RBI and tell them about all these things. Tell them about the discrepancy with how their college calculates, how your college calculates percentage, and how RBI has recommended, and ask them. Okay, they are the best people to tell you in that case scenario, because every case is going to be different. Okay, a lot of students keep asking me, sir, what is a good backup? So recently I got a call from a student also who said, who's already working in a public sector bank, he wanted to quit and start preparing for RBI, but at the same time wanted a backup as well. So I would like to, there are different situations, there are different combinations and permutations that can be made. But one thing is important is looking for a job or making job as your primary target should not be the backup. The backup has to be what you like to do. So in case of a student who's already working in a public sector bank, if you like your work or if you find it satisfying, you go forward with it, keep doing it, and at the same time have enough discipline to find out time for your RBI prep. if you're not finding your job satisfying enough, if you feel that it's not providing me that kind of internal satisfaction that I should be getting, look for something else. Okay, so your backup should not be only it. Of course, finance has to be a particular one of the aspects, but it should not be the only aspect. Okay, even when you're going for RBI interview, the interview panel wants to see a vision in you. Interview panel wants to see students who have higher goals than just getting onto a government job. The idea of a government job is not what any experienced person, any well-read person would like to hear or would like to see in you. Okay, so it's always better to have larger goals than just looking for a job in RBI or in any other organization. Okay, so when you're looking for a backup, think about it well, as to ask yourself the question, do I really like to do this? Can I do this for a consistent period of time, for a significant period of time, or not? Okay, and whatever answer you get, based on that you create a backup for yourself. And the next is join higher studies. So a lot of students ask me whether they should go for higher studies in order to prevent the gap that is created while they are preparing for these competitive exams, including RBI. Well, I would recommend specifically for RBI and also for UPSC, it's always recommended that you join some higher studies program, whether it's IGNOU or whether it's any other correspondence program. The reason is that when another person sees that along with your preparation you're also doing something else, it's always liked, it's always appreciated. Okay, although there is also a threat, because if let's say you are doing an MA in economics from IGNOU, then they expect that you have a good amount of knowledge or decent amount of knowledge in MA economics about economics. So you have to be well read also, but at the same time the start is always good if you don't have that gap. So students who have started their preparation, who have just completed their graduation or completed it in 18 and are not doing anything else, I would recommend that you go for some higher studies program as well, whether it's correspondence or open or anything else. It always gives you an edge, it always boosts your confidence, and it also gives you that psychological satisfaction or peace that if not RBI, you are doing something else. It's not completely blank. Okay, so these years are not completely blank. So that helps you remain more productive, remain more focused with your preparation as well. Okay, so it's very important that you do that. Shivani will be coming to resources now. Quant, reasoning, whatever your doubts are, I'll be answering those. Okay. Rajneesh, interesting question. If you have CFA, why will you not get a job? CFAs are high in demand always. Okay, so you will easily get a job even if you don't have an MBA. Anshul, you've left your job to prepare for RBI. It's okay, but the gap should not be too big. If the gap is, let's say, 2 years, 3 years, then it becomes problematic. Okay, if the gap is only 1 year, then it's fine. So if you don't get through in one shot, then you always should have a backup plan. As I said, higher studies or anything else. Shwani, I'll be answering how to prepare for quantum reasoning. ओके, तो रिसोर्स मिस्टेक्स होती हैं इन 9 एरियाज में जो मैंने यहाँ पर बताए हैं. इन दीज 9 एरियाज मिस्टेक्स आर मेड. क्वांटिटेटिव एप्टीट्यूड फेज 1, रीजनिंग फेज 1, English for phase 1, general awareness for phase 1, which includes the static portion also. Then you have finance for phase 2, management for phase 2, economic and social issues for phase 2, English essay plus Prezi plus comprehension for phase 2, and then you have current affairs for phase 2. So general awareness includes current affairs plus static portion for phase 1, and this current portion covers for phase 2. Okay, so let's cover them one by one. In quantitative aptitude, what is asked, what is not asked, broad classifications I have made, and the areas how exactly do you cover them. Equations के questions are asked, but they are easy, part of algebra. Number theory is asked. It is doable, and but it needs practice. Needs you to practice regularly. Arithmetic बहुत ज़्यादा पूछा जाता है, asked in a lot of details. Okay, so you need a lot of practice and a lot of command. Mensuration is not asked. Students ask me, आएगा भी तो even if it is asked randomly, one question out of 30. You don't want to waste 15 days of your preparation in something from where you can have only one question. Trigo not asked. PNC rarely asked, so no need to prepare. Probability rarely asked, no need to prepare. Log not asked. Geometry not asked. DI data interpretation not mentioned here. Data interpretation is asked. 10 to 15 questions out of 30 questions come directly from data interpretation and needs a lot of practice. The level of data interpretation questions is increasing or improving day by day, needs a lot of practice. So these are the broad areas that you need to focus upon. Okay, and what are the books or sources that can be used? See, there are a lot of good quality and bad quality videos on YouTube. So the filtration has to be done by you only, with respect to how to cover these areas. Number one, do not rely only on books now. The reason is that all these methods and ways of solving questions that are available in books are old. They are not updated so regularly. So it's better that you use videos which have much better, lot of videos which have much better methods of solving questions, and use books to practice. Okay, even in the course that I have, I provide videos plus some practice questions, but I always tell the students that after you're done with these questions, after you're done with these videos, you have to get cat material and practice as much as you want to or you can. Okay, because that level of practice varies from person to person. One person catches something based on 10 questions or 15 questions. Another person needs 50 questions to understand the same thing. Okay, so that practice will vary depending upon your caliber, depend upon your understanding of a particular topic. In one topic you might need 10 questions, in another topic you might need 50 questions. Okay, so you have to start preparation practice through cat material. Cat material is the best. A lot of coaching institutes come out with their regular yearly material, so pick up any material. You will get the xerox also. You can go to these coachings also and find their material, ask for their material. That is the best that you can pick up. No need to use books, because questions are less, the books are very expensive. Okay, for quant you will find a book for 500, 600. Entire cat material xerox you can easily get for 1000. Okay, that is more helpful, and these books are also for cat only. So you can first of all get cat material. If you're done with them, if you find that you are satisfied with whatever you have covered, you can get some more practice books. There are some practice booklets by BSc, Banking Services Chronicle. You can get their practice booklets. Okay, so those kind of things can be used. You can experiment with a lot of books. You don't need to just rely on whatever I tell you with respect to books. Pick up books, keep experimenting with books, but cat material is something that can be relied upon. Okay, so ये हो गया. This is about a quant. Any question regarding quant that you have? Otherwise I'll move forward. Pratik, if you are able to follow the 13-week plan, I think that should be good enough, because we still have a lot of time. Okay, you're preparing for CFA also level 1. CFA level 1 is not that tough also, so I think you can easily crack it. So every day take out, so if you're studying for 8 hours, 4 hours you take out for CFA. Okay, 4 hours for RBI, or 3 hours for CFA, 5 hours for RBI. That should be enough, I believe. Pick up one topic at a time, cover that topic, and then move to another topic. Don't try and cover everything in one day. Okay. Harshraj, why do you need a website for quant? You go to YouTube, pick up topics, understand the concepts behind that, pick up cat material, and then start practicing. No need to go for sites. Mahendra, when should we start preparation for quant? Depends upon your present level. First of all, you have to identify what your present level is. If you are very weak in quant, you have to start now only. If you are average in quant and you know that with a little practice, with a little understanding of some topics, you can pick it up faster. You first prepare for phase 2 and then you start preparation for phase 1. Okay, so it depends upon, and how do you identify where you stand? You take some mocks. You take 2 3 mocks, and based on the scores of those mocks, you will be able to understand where do you stand. Pratik, you are working employee, then you have to focus on one thing at a time. Okay, you cannot do anything. Doing 3 things at a time becomes very difficult for any person. One work is your job. Second work would be either RBI or CFA. Okay, don't try and cover everything. uh, what you can do is, while you're preparing for RBI, finance and money management, whatever you're going to cover, that will help you in CFA also. Okay, so once you're done with RBI exam this year, then the next 3 months you shell out for CFA and cover CFA, and then give CFA exam. That is how you can cover it. You cannot cover it completely simultaneously. Which this year's SEBI exam is not over. No point in asking about next year's exam. Probably in 2019, October or November, not before that. DEPR we don't cover. I have no expertise in economics to that extent, statistics and economics, so I don't pick it up. Ashutosh is asking, your message has been deleted. Please ask your question again. Kavleen, how many hours of study I require? See, it depends upon you. Uh, More than 8 hours of study in a day is impossible for any person, and these 8 hours are productive hours. So, whatever additional hours you're going to put are not going to be productive at all. Okay. Study material, job care. As I said, I don't have expertise, so I don't provide anything, and I don't have any awareness about that as well. Okay, let's move forward to reasoning. Now, what happens in reasoning? In reasoning, these are the broad areas that are covered. Of course, there will be one or two other areas also, but these are the broad ones that I've picked. 4 to 5 puzzles are asked with 5 questions each, so 20 to 25 marks. They're always very tricky, lengthy, and they're always full of traps. So, what happens in puzzles, which includes seating arrangements, circular arrangements, and all these areas, is that if there are 5 questions of five five different puzzles with 5 questions each, total of 25 questions, let's say 3 of these 5 will be very difficult. 3 of these 5 are not doable at all. So they are traps meant to waste your time. You're not supposed to be doing them. You're not supposed to pick them up. And 2 of these 5 are doable. Now, in these two, one is easy, which can be done in, let's say, 5 minutes, and one is a little difficult, which would need 10 to 15 minutes. Now, what you have to learn when you're preparing puzzles, when you're practicing puzzles, is to identify what these 3 questions are and which of these 5 questions are doable, and then to further identify which one is easy and which one is difficult. That is more important than doing the question. Okay, because if you're stuck in any one of these, you're gone. Your 10 to 15 minutes will be gone. You will not be able to do any question, come to the answer, and then you will start panicking. So it's important to not only to learn how to solve questions, but also to learn how to manage your time. Okay. A lot of people tell you time management seek lo, learn time management. What is that? That is basically identifying whether the question is doable or not in the first 10-15 seconds. As soon as you identify that, you decide to either go forward with it or to move out and pick up another question. Okay. Syllogisms are the second set. They're always very scoring. You should prepare them well. Assumptions and conclusions, yes, scoring, prepare them well. Similarly, sequence and series, blood relations, coding, decoding, logical deduction, analogies are not asked every year, but all these are scoring areas. Okay, inequality, scoring, input output, scoring, data sufficiency, very scoring, clocks and calendars are not asked. No need to cover them. So these are the broad areas. Of course, there will be some areas, some other areas in verbal reasoning as well, which are asked. But these are the broad areas, and the strategy is going to remain the same as in quantitative aptitude. You go to YouTube, figure out topic by topic which video is good, cover them, then go to CAT material and try and cover those questions. Okay. Okay. Then the next one is English. English में how do you prepare and what all areas need to be covered. The first is reading comprehension. Reading comprehension can only be done through practice. So if you don't practice, you cannot expect yourself to be good at reading comprehension. I had explained in various previous lessons that there are two methods to cover reading comprehension. One is you pick up the question first, and another one is you pick up the RC first and then go to the question. You can experiment both these one by one while you're practicing questions, and then you can figure out which way is better for you, because every person has a different way of approaching questions. Okay, but normally question format is considered faster, given that you are not getting stuck in a question before you've started your RC. So what you have to do is you just have to identify keywords in every question and see and look for that same keyword in RC. Okay, after you're done with your questions. So there are 5 questions, you look for keywords. On all these 5 questions, you create a structure in your mind, a very broad structure. Okay, this should be the theme of the RC, this should be what the RC would be talking about, and then you go and read RC. And as soon as you start finding answers to these 5 questions, you start answering them. That is how you have to go about it. But all of this needs a lot of practice, and as I had said before, CAT material is the best to practice them. It does not matter what kind of reading comprehension you are practicing, the length matters, because the quality or the variation with respect to type of question will be a lot in subsequent examinations of RBI or any other banking exam. But the length decides to a great extent what kind of question it is. Okay. Parajumble needs a lot of practice. There are some tricks that you can cover. Again, you will find these online itself. Fill in the blanks. Understanding of grammar is required to a certain extent, not completely, but to a certain extent, a basic extent is required. Okay. Sentence correction, again, grammatical understanding is required. Sentence completion, you need to practice. Even if your grammar is not so good, you can complete sentences just by understanding the meaning of those sentences. Okay. Phrases and word replacement, again, you need practice. Even if your grammar or your vocab is not that good, you can cover them by practicing more and more. Okay. So English is a little on the easier side. The focus or the primary trick in phase 1 is practice. The more and the smarter you practice, the better you're going to get. Take tests regularly, at least one test every week once you start preparing. And once you're revising, one test every day or one test every alternate days. And analyze those tests, analyze your mocks. Okay. If you're not able to analyze your performance, if you're not able to analyze your questions properly, then there is no point in taking those mocks. Okay. What about general awareness? So student had asked me, अभी किसी ने पूछा था how to cover current affairs. Well, at this point of time, static GK, the reason I've already told you, if you've not gone through it, you can go through it after the video. The reason that I've told you, you cover static GK first and then you move to current affairs, because we don't know when the exam is going to be held. Okay. Static GK, post 2017, weightage of static GK has been increasing. Questions are now more complex and in depth. Therefore, you need to cover static GK in much more details. Second is current affairs. Current has become much more unpredictable with a mix of factual and analytical questions. Therefore, you need to cover current affairs in much more details now. What are the sources that you use? Static GK में people used to use Lucent GK and rely on the Lucent book. That is certainly good. Very good book, covers a lot of areas. Manorma is something that can be used for facts related to static GK. That book has a lot of facts, but don't cover it. Don't try to finish it cover by cover. Okay, it's a thick book. You need to be able to identify the topics that are useful, that are important, identify the topics that are not useful, break them apart, and then cover it. Okay, the same goes for current. You can rely on a lot of websites, but don't rely on any one because the weightage is very high, 80 marks out of 200. So you need to be able to cover it from multiple areas to make sure that you are able to score 50, 60, 70, whatever it is in current affairs. Okay, now let's come to finance for phase 2. Okay, let's take some questions. कुछ questions हैं तो please ask me these questions and then I'll move forward. Lucent also, you don't need to go through it cover by cover, cover to cover. Okay, there will be a lot of areas which are not required, like history, ancient history, medieval history, modern history, not asked in RBI. Geography not asked in RBI to that extent, so you have to leave those areas. Yeah, the information given in the course is very detailed. I'm going to pick up static GK again from 6th February. We're going to pick up static GK again. The target is to cover it in the next 10 days, 6 to 16, to cover the remaining portions of static GK once again. We'll be making some updations there. 8 years of gap is a lot. You should have a good reply. 8 years of gap is a lot. Let me be very honest about that. Okay. It will affect your interview if you don't have a convincing answer. Even if it's a bad answer, even if it's the experience is bad, it does not matter. It has to be convincing and it has to look honest, and it has to give they have to be given a very valid reason, and you also have to show at the same time that you are moving forward with your life, and you understand that that gap was because of some or the other mistake or some or the other reason, and you have resolved that now and you are covering it. Okay, yes Akash, you can prepare for both simultaneously because of overlap in your syllabus. Rahul, maybe your internet is too slow, because that should not happen. Try on laptop if you're not trying on laptop yet. Anil, you don't need to go through any books. If there is any confusion, you can put it on the Telegram group, which is only for enrolled students, or you can Google it, or you can ask me. But no need to go through books cover to cover, because the course is comprehensive enough. Current affairs, yes, very important, Mahindra. Good question. Very important thing that I should have mentioned is that, do you cover current affairs daily or fortnightly or monthly basis? Well, in my personal opinion, don't cover it daily. Cover it either weekly or fortnightly, 15 days, or monthly. Um, People are providing you current affairs on a daily basis just because they want to engage you with them, they want to stay in touch with you, but uh, it's about your career, it's about your exam. Okay, covering it daily does not make any sense. Okay, the reason is very clear, very simple. You spend 2 hours on covering current affairs on a daily basis, or let's say 1 hour only on covering current affairs on a daily basis. After having covered current for 1 hour, you feel internally that you've done a lot, but you actually have not done anything, because you've just covered current affairs for that particular day, and this entire syllabus or a lot of other things are pending. But you get that feeling that you've already done enough for that day, so your productivity goes down, number one. Secondly, in a lot of current issues, things build up day after day. So when you're covering it fortnightly or monthly, you're able to cover it together and you're not overlapping or you're not covering the same thing again and again and wasting your time. Okay. So let's say GST something happens. GST has been in news for the last 1.5 to 2 years. So if you're covering it every day, you're reading the same thing again and again on a daily basis, which is not required. Okay. Revision is important, but this level of revision wastes your time. So it's important that you cover it weekly, fortnightly, or monthly. Monthly is good enough. You spend 5 days in a month only for current, cover it in 5 days and move forward to the next month. Okay. So in my opinion, don't cover it daily. I also have to provide it daily because students don't listen to me. They keep demanding that we have to cover it on a daily basis. But I would not recommend that you cover it on a daily basis. Okay. Gaurav, you will have sufficient time for revision. Try to speed it up a little bit. Management, I have already given you the entire thing with a lot of practice questions as well. Try and cover that. You will have enough time. Don't worry about it. Just try and focus on coverage of the syllabus. Monthly coverage sources. Uh, my website, you will find monthly coverage. Affairs Cloud is good enough for current affairs, but as I said, don't cover it right now. Current affairs, cover it later for phase one. GK today is also fine. Now the quality has gone down, but it's can be used as a supplement. Affairs Cloud is good. Olive Board is also good. So these are the sources that can be used. Let's come to finance, phase two. Important thing that you have to keep in mind for finance is to cover it topic wise rather than book wise. Okay. Now there is a problem here because we guys, Indians, we as Indians are used to covering things book wise. We just pick up one book and we think that by covering that book we are covering everything that is required to be read in that area. But that is not true. You have to cover everything topic wise. Whether you have 10 books, whether you have 20 books does not matter. Go for topic wise coverage. If you're covering financial inclusion, pick up 5 areas, see if what all can you find in those 5 books or 5 sources with respect to financial inclusion. If there is a lot of difference, you cover all the sources. If there is a lot of overlap, not enough difference, you pick up any one whichever you find the best and cover it from there. Okay, so you go topic wise rather than going book wise. So keeping different books, whether it's Bharti Pathak or M.Y. Khan or any other book, is not bad. Don't be afraid of books, but try and cover everything topic wise. Okay, if you're covering on your own. I also do the same whenever I'm creating a course. Whenever I'm covering a particular topic, I don't limit myself to one particular book. Okay, I can go forward and look for look in hundreds of books if required to understand that topic particularly properly. Okay, and finance numerical, because the weightage is going down day by day, you don't need to focus a lot on finance numerical. Any one book, whether it's Prasanna Chandra or M.Y. Khan or Rustagi, is good enough. Okay, so you cover one book based on past year coverage or past year examination. You don't need to cover the entire book. There are a lot of topics from statistics in Prasanna Chandra, in I.M. Pandey, in M.Y. Khan, and also in Rustagi. You don't need to cover those areas. So it's important that you identify. In the coverage video on books, which I had created about 6-7 months back, I had explained all those nuances. Okay, so you can go through that for that coverage. Management. The important things that you need to keep in mind. Number one is cover Indian authors like T.N. Chhabra or C.V. Gupta. Don't limit yourself to foreign authors like S.P. Robbins. The reason is very clear. Foreign authors, although the coverage is good, it's not enough. They don't cover everything. Indian authors, although the coverage is bad, I mean, by bad I mean the explanations are very technical. The explanations at times are confusing because it's a copy paste job that they've done. They picked out things from various sources and they just accumulated or put it there. But the coverage is always enough. The coverage is not enough here, the coverage is enough here. They cover everything that can be asked in the examination. Okay. Do not rely on the syllabus given by RBI for management specifically, because the syllabus of management is only directive in nature. A lot of students ask me, sir, आपने You've given morale, you've given culture, you've given conflict, but they're not mentioned in the syllabus. Well, questions have been asked regularly in the past 2 3 years, so you have to cover them. Practice a lot of case studies, as many case studies as you can. In 12th business studies BST book also you will find case studies. You can go to coachings which provide coaching for 12th, and you can pick up their material. You can just ask them to give you some case studies. Those case studies will be good. In MBA colleges also, if you have any friends who've done MBA, who are doing MBA, you can ask for case studies from them and practice small case studies as much as possible. The focus has to be on these two things, keywords and concepts. In entire management you have to keep focusing on these two things. Whenever you're reading anything, whatever theory, whatever concept you're understanding, just try and understand the concept clearly, and also focus on keywords. These keywords are important. Case studies are made based on these keywords only. Okay. Economic and social issues. A lot of students ask me, sir, 1 second. A lot of students ask me, weightage किसका कितना है? Well, in when we talk about finance and management, then weightage of current is only about 30%, current affairs, which is also related to only finance, and weightage of syllabus is about 70%. Okay. In ESI it's otherwise, ulta hai. Weightage of current is 70%, weightage of syllabus is 30%. That does not mean that you don't cover the syllabus or that you don't cover current here. That only means that your time has to be divided in such a way that you're spending only 30% of the time required to be spent on ESI on the syllabus part and 70% on current. Okay, that's why the videos that you will see on ESI that I have made are they're not like 100 hours of videos, only 30 40 hours of videos, because I understand that the syllabus weightage is only 30%. You need good understanding of the syllabus, but you don't need to get into everything related to the syllabus. If you're talking about corruption, तो corruption की theories करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. You're not required to cover theories of corruption or the entire understanding of migration, how it has happened till since 1947. You don't need that, because that is not asked in the examination. Otherwise there is no limit. You can do a PhD in Indian economy, you can do a PhD in social issues. That is not required, although it's mentioned in the syllabus. In the syllabus you will see migration, you will see communalism mentioned, but questions are not asked from the syllabus, from those areas. So only basic things, basic understanding: what is communalism, what is migration, how is it has happened in the past, what is urban migration, push migration, pull migration. Only those things, those basic concepts I've explained. Okay. Books: Mishra and Puri or Ramesh Singh or NCRT or Sanjeev Verma. You can pick up any one. To start, NCRT is good. One day one NCRT, or maximum of 2 days one NCRT. Try and to cover it, and then you can move to other books like Mishra and Puri or Ramesh Singh or Sanjeev Verma. Mishra and Puri is the most comprehensive, but at the same time takes a lot of time. Ramesh Singh is considered more brief and more doable in the limited time period. Current affairs can be covered from UPSC material, but you need to filter out, because UPSC may different kinds of questions are asked. Here the questions are objective, there the questions are descriptive. There the areas which are covered are a lot more than what is covered in RBI. So some filtering is required. Okay. And when it comes to ESI syllabus, yes, you can rely on the syllabus given by RBI. Questions are not asked with respect to syllabus, not current affairs, from outside what is given. Okay. Because the terms are too big. Economic growth and development, that is the term, includes everything related to development. Okay. English phase 2, how exactly do you prepare? Okay. Essay 40 marks, Prezi 30 marks, comprehension 30 marks. All these three areas require a lot of practice, as much practice as possible. How to exactly practice, that I have to explain it to you. One test every week is something that you can start following. So what you do is, number one, you create a comprehensive test. So the first step is, if I am not providing you a test, you create a comprehensive test for yourself. You pick up any 4 topics which are in news, related to finance, related to economics, related to banking. You create 4 important essay topics for yourself. Okay. You pick up any article from the newspaper, create a précis on that. You pick up any other article, create 4 5 questions on that, a comprehension is made. Okay, so create a comprehensive test once, it'll take you around 30 minutes maximum, and then carry out research on those 3 4 essay topics. Now all these 3 4 essay topics are important for you, because a question can be asked according to your understanding. A question can be asked on any one. All these topics are important. Okay, so you carry out research on all these 3 4 topics, and then you leave the test for the minimum of 5 hours. Let's say you sit with it at 8 o'clock in the morning. You are done with it by, let's say, 12 p.m. Now 12 to 5 or 12 to 7, let's say, for the next 7 hours you do something else. You sleep, you eat, you study something else. You forget about the test. At 7 p.m. you pick up the test, and then you write it without going back to your research. So you pick up the test, write on any one essay topic, write a précis and write the comprehension, and then check your essay and see how you have done. So analyze it yourself rather than relying on someone else to analyze it for you. Analyze it yourself, see what all mistakes have you done. Critically analyze करना important है. Critical analysis is very important. You just think about it. Think about it in this way, that this test is written by someone else. I just have to find faults in it, and then you see what all mistakes have you made. Okay, so this is the way in which the entire essay writing has to be, or English test writing has to be carried out. When I am giving you a test, then only this step is removed. You have to carry out these 3 steps yourself, and after that you send it to me and I provide you feedback. Okay, but at the same time it's very important that you are also able to critically analyze your own performance. That will give you a lot more feedback, a lot more better understanding about it. Okay, so this is about English. Then comes current. Phase 1 का I have explained, phase 1 का static I have explained, phase 2 current. ESI, as I said, can be filtered from UPSC monthly magazines and notes. Finance के लिए you need RBI website, the best area to cover everything. Financial newspaper like Live Mint, Economic Times, Financial Express, and financial blogs. There are a lot of blogs, like there is a blog which I recently found, Economics Discussion. A lot of good articles, very clear and crisp articles on the topics of economics. I've also started creating a blog on the website, on my website, and I come out with one article in every 4 5 days. But the article is always very well researched and long, and covers everything related to that particular topic. So you can use that also. Weekly, you can just go through the website, see if there is any new article, and go through that. Okay. That is for your basic understanding of whether it's finance or ESI. But for finance, RBI website and financial newspaper, these are the best that you can cover. Now the third and last is attitudinal mistakes and confusions. Can I cover the syllabus in 6 months? Yes, you can cover the syllabus in 6 months, given that you are consistent with your preparation. That is the most important part. Consistency is the most important part. 4 hours every day, and in these 4 hours you're not touching your phone, you will be done. Importance of syllabus versus current. As I said, cover the syllabus first, then go to current. Don't go to current first and cover the syllabus then. This is a wrong approach. Cover the syllabus first. In UPSC also, me and many other students and a lot of students make the same mistake. We made the same mistake. Rather than covering the syllabus first, we move to current part, just because people keep telling us, institutes keep telling us that current is important, just because they know that current is so difficult and current is unending, so you will have to rely on them. But you don't need that. You need to first of all cover the syllabus, be very thorough with what exactly RBI is demanding from you, and then you move towards current affairs. Okay, mugging up. A lot of students boast about not mugging up and focusing on understanding. Well, mugging up is required to a certain extent. There has to be a very good combination or very balanced approach when it comes to the balance between mugging up and understanding things. There are areas where you have to mug up. Okay, don't be shy about mugging up. Ratta marna padega, so you have to be ready for that. Revision, at least 2 times. Revision is very important. Students keep covering new areas without revising the older ones. Keep revising the older ones also simultaneously. take your mocks very seriously. Do not take them lightly. By seriously, what I mean is mock analysis. After you're done with the mock, sit with the mock, see what you have done, see all the questions, analyze every question after the mock. Okay, whether you have answered it correctly, if you have answered it correctly, whether you knew or was it a fluke. If you did not answer it correctly, why? Cover the topic then and there the same day. Okay, so these are the things that you have to keep in mind. The other attitudinal mistakes, students focusing on things not done. Okay, a lot of students keep asking how to cover Yojana in Kurukshetra. Are you done with basics of ESI, syllabus of ESI, Ramesh Singh, basic schemes and everything related to ESI? No, you're not. Majority of students who are asking about Yojana in Kurukshetra are not done with those things. Well, Yojana in Kurukshetra is for UPSC aspirants. Even a lot of UPSC aspirants don't read them. Why? In one article, you are going to be able to generate one opinion. You're already doing that, or you're already supposed to be doing that from or through newspaper. Okay, very less facts, very less information available from Yojana in Kurukshetra. Why is it important for UPSC? Because it helps them to understand how to write answers. You don't have to do that. Okay, if your NCRTs are not yet done, what's the point in asking how to cover Yojana in Kurukshetra and spending time on that? First, cover the basics. How to cover current affairs? Syllabus not yet done. First, cover the syllabus, then go towards current affairs. How to score 80 plus in English? No test taken. A lot of students don't even take one test, and the question they ask is, how can we score 80 plus in English in the last 10 days? Not possible if you're not good right away. Okay, so take tests, start taking tests. At this point of time, you don't need to start taking tests. Probably, let's say from March, you can start taking tests once in every 15 days or once in every week. Okay, how to cover schemes launched 10 to 15 years back. A lot of students asked me, sir, there were three questions from schemes from 1996 to 1999. How do we cover those kind of schemes? There were 20 other questions from schemes between 2017 to 2018. The focus has to be on those schemes. Those three questions were supposed to confuse you, were supposed not to be answered. Okay, nobody could answer them. Students who answered them probably were not able to cover those other 20 schemes, or they must have read it somewhere or the other just by fluke. Otherwise, you are not expected to cover that much detail if it is not important. If it is important, of course, you have to cover it, but the focus has to be on the majority first and then the minority. Okay. Okay, let's take some questions. Resource confusion, I have explained all these 9 confusions, Shunzo, that you have related to quant, reasoning, English. You can, after the class, you can go through them again. Urbanization, I will be creating the video soon. BMR, there are no other books. The books suggested by me are the best books available. Otherwise, you will get even more confusing books. Okay. So you have to, if you're not from economics background, it does not matter. That is what RBI demands from you. So you have to be able to cover that. CA final SFM book, yes, it covers finance part, but again, the CA final and CA inter, they focus more on practical areas rather than the theoretical areas. Okay, the focus on RBI, as I said, on the other hand, is on theoretical areas. Vijay monthly current affairs are good. Polity questions are not asked in phase 1. G material provided by me is enough. Nobody knows, as I said, nobody knows when the exam will be held, but yes, from July to September, October, it can be held anytime. Okay, but it should not be held, according to me. It's just a forecast. There is no resource that I've used. Just a forecast. It should not be held in May and June because of elections and because the present recruitment is not yet over. Correspondence course can be an MBA. You can go for an executive MBA. You can go for a correspondence MBA. You can go for masters, whether it's correspondence or online or open. There are a lot of things that you can do. A lot of courses online as well. International universities are giving beautiful courses. So there are a lot of things that you can do. You just need to Google it and sit and search for it for 4 5 hours. You will be able to find out things. Okay. RBI assistant 4 to 5 months of CA current affairs. Yes, NCRT 11th and 12th macroeconomics and Indian economic development. Yes, it's possible to prepare for RBI and SSC simultaneously. A lot of overlaps. Not necessary, as I said, to read NCRT books. Though ही NCRT की books हैं, you can cover one book in 2 days. If you have no idea about economics and if you want to cover the basics, you pick it up. Promotional exam is your first, priority. Uh, Once you pass your promotional exam and your CIP, then you focus on RBI. Simultaneously, if you want to do it, you have to take out time. I cannot provide you. Maybe you can create a timetable in Excel and send it over to me, and then I can have a look at it, because I cannot create the timetable for you. I can tell you what is wrong with the timetable. Okay. Okay. So I think we have had a long session today. Okay, we have had a long session today. I hope the things were more clear now. A lot of doubts among students. I have tried to clear some of them. Okay, we will try and hold another one soon if possible. Otherwise, we'll take it forward and have a doubt session specifically for certain areas, which will be more technical. We'll try and have that. Okay. चलिए, let's finish the session. All the best and thanks a lot for coming in, listening to me. It's been almost 1 hour, more than an hour. चलिए, all the best. Good night.